Right out of the gate, let me tell you, what happened to Seth Rollins last night is not the kind of wrestling drama anyone wants. This is real pain, real fear, and the kind of nightmare every fan and wrestler dreads. Seth Rollins, the architect, the visionary, one of WWE's most electrifying talents, suffered a devastating leg injury live on Raw, forcing a last-minute scramble to get him rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. The severity, so intense that Becky Lynch, the man herself, was seen breaking down in tears backstage, unable to hide the anguish. And no, this isn't some scripted swerve or storyline twist. This was raw, unfiltered chaos. The kind that shatters dreams and tests the limits of human resilience. So what went down? Let's rewind the tape. The match was heating up. A high-stakes tag team bout featuring Seth and Becky against a formidable duo. The crowd was electric, chants echoing throughout the arena. Seth was his usual relentless self, pulling off breathtaking moves and executing the kind of in-ring psychology that made him a legend. Then came the moment no one saw coming. During a high-risk maneuver, Seth took a brutal fall, landing awkwardly on his right leg. The arena fell silent. The camera zoomed in on his grimace, an expression filled with pure pain. He tried to shake it off, to get back on his feet, but the leg wasn't cooperating. Medical staff rushed into the ring as Seth grimaced, pain clear in his eyes. The announcers' voices grew urgent, but the crowd's anxiety was palpable. Becky's face, usually a picture of fire and focus, cracked instantly. She knew. She saw it. Paramedics moved quickly, escorting Seth out on a stretcher amid a mixture of boos, gasps, and stunned silence. The live broadcast cut to commercial, but the scene backstage was a storm of worry and heartbreak. Word leaked fast. Seth had sustained a serious fracture, requiring immediate surgery. The doctors described the injury as complex and severe, involving multiple fractures that could sideline him for an extended period. Backstage, Becky Lynch's tears weren't just for the injury but the unspoken fear of losing not just a partner but a man who means everything to her, professionally and personally. Fans flooded social media with prayers, support, and a rage directed at the brutality of the sport and, inevitably, the company. The questions swirling are hard-hitting. Was Seth medically cleared properly before the match? Did WWE push him too hard despite warnings? How will this affect his career and, frankly, his life? But that's just the beginning. The fallout backstage. Explosive. Wrestlers are furious, some saying this was an accident waiting to happen. Insiders hint at frustrations over scheduling, medical checks, and the relentless grind that pushes athletes to the edge. Becky Lynch's emotional breakdown has become a symbol of the real human cost behind the glitz and glamour of WWE's biggest stage. Fans are demanding answers, transparency, and changes to protect the performers they love. But WWE's official response? Typical corporate caution. A statement saying Seth is receiving care, and the company supports him fully, feels hollow to fans and talent alike. No timelines, no real information, just vague reassurances that do little to calm the growing storm. So here's the truth, raw and uncut. Seth Rollins' injury isn't just a medical emergency, it's a glaring spotlight on the dangers WWE talent face every night and the company's questionable role in protecting, or failing to protect, their own. The wrestling world is watching. The WWE universe is demanding justice, safety, and respect for the performers who give everything in that ring. And Becky Lynch's tears are a heartbreaking reminder that behind every move and every match, there's a real person paying the price. Stay tuned because this story is far from over. We'll keep you updated with every detail, every backstage whisper, and every fan reaction. Because Seth Rollins deserves more than silence. He deserves a full fight back. From the WWE, from the fans, and from all of us who believe wrestling is about heart, not just headlines. Behind the scenes of WWE's grand spectacle, things were anything but glamorous last night. The moment Seth Rollins went down, the energy backstage shifted from excitement to pure panic. Wrestlers who have seen their share of injuries know the weight of what just happened. Seth isn't just a superstar, he's family to many in the locker room. And seeing him carried away, legs broken and hopes shattered, sent shockwaves through the roster. Sources close to the scene describe a whirlwind of emotions, anger, fear, and helplessness. Some locker room veterans are reportedly furious with WWE management, accusing them of pushing Seth into a match that was too dangerous given his recent nagging leg issues. Others are worried about the toll this will take on his future, both in wrestling and life beyond the ring. Then there's Becky Lynch, the fierce competitor known for her unbreakable spirit. But last night, she showed a vulnerability rarely seen on live TV. Caught on camera backstage, Becky was openly crying, trembling with a mix of fear and frustration. Her tears weren't just about the physical injury, they reflected the emotional toll of seeing someone she loves endure this pain. Rumors are swirling that Seth and Becky had voiced concerns about his leg to WWE doctors before the match, but were pushed forward anyway. If true, that's a nightmare scenario, a blatant disregard for wrestler safety that has now turned into a harsh reality. Fans watching the scenes unfold were equally devastated. Social media exploded with messages of support for Seth and Becky. Hashtag Get Well Seth and hashtag Stay Strong Becky trended worldwide as fans poured out their hearts, sharing memories, prayers, and calls for WWE to improve its health protocols. Some fans didn't hold back their anger, blaming WWE for what they called a preventable disaster. Questions about medical clearances, scheduling, and wrestler welfare flooded every platform. The pain was palpable. This wasn't just a broken leg, this was a breaking point for the entire wrestling community. Meanwhile, Wee's official communication remained tight-lipped. A short statement confirmed Seth was undergoing surgery, but gave no details on the severity or recovery timeline. For many, it felt like a cold corporate brush-off amid a sea of genuine concern. Insiders say this injury could be a turning point. With Seth's status as one of WWE's top stars, his absence will leave a massive void, not just on TV, but in the locker room's morale. And the emotional impact on Becky. It's fueling a fire among fans and wrestlers alike, rallying around her as she navigates this heartbreak. But here's the hard truth. Injuries like Seth's are a brutal reminder of the physical risks WWE superstars face every single night. Behind the pyrotechnics and scripted storylines is a world where real bodies get broken, and sometimes careers, and lives, are changed forever. The questions remain. How will WWE respond? Will they take meaningful steps to protect their talent, or will Seth's injury become just another statistic in the wrestling business? Stay close, because the fallout from last night is just beginning, and trust me, babe, you don't want to miss what's coming next. After the devastating injury to Seth Rollins, the WWE universe wasted no time turning grief into action. Across social media, fan-led campaigns exploded, demanding not only speedy recovery but real accountability from WWE. Hashtags like hashtag Protect Our Wrestlers and hashtag Seth Rollins Strong flooded Twitter and Instagram, as fans organized fundraisers and awareness drives about wrestler safety. The movement wasn't just online. Fans gathered outside WWE events, holding up signs, chanting Seth's name, and demanding changes to the company's wellness and medical protocols. For the first time in years, the crowd wasn't just cheering, it was protesting, united in their demand for respect and care for the athletes they love. In response, WWE finally broke their silence with an official statement. They expressed their support for Seth, confirming he underwent surgery and is receiving the best medical care. However, many criticized the statement as generic and lacking concrete promises for improved safety measures. The absence of a detailed plan or timeline for Seth's recovery left fans skeptical. Meanwhile, inside WWE, Seth's closest allies have spoken out. Becky Lynch, her heartbreak still raw, posted an emotional message about Seth's strength and their hope for healing. Fellow superstars, including Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, sent public wishes for a full recovery, emphasizing the need to prioritize health over everything else. But beyond the public posts, whispers of discontent grow louder backstage. Some wrestlers are calling for a union or collective bargaining to ensure medical conditions are never ignored again. The loss of a peak performer like Seth could be a catalyst for long overdue change. As Seth begins his road to recovery, the wrestling world watches closely, hopeful, anxious, and united in demanding a safer future for all performers. Seth Rollins' injury isn't just a medical emergency, it's a life-altering moment that will test his strength like never before. As he begins the grueling journey of rehabilitation, the wrestling world watches with bated breath, hoping to see the architect rise again. Those closest to Seth have shared touching stories of his unbreakable spirit. Becky Lynch, often called the Man, for her fierce persona, revealed a softer side, talking about Seth's pain, his determination to fight through setbacks, and his unwavering passion for wrestling. She's been his rock, standing by his side through every setback and triumph. Fellow wrestlers recall Seth's tireless work ethic, his willingness to push limits, and his role as a mentor to younger talent. The injury has left a void not only in the ring but in the locker room culture that Seth helped shape. But Seth's story is more than personal, it's become a symbol of a wrestling industry at a crossroads. WWE faces growing pressure to overhaul its wellness policies, reduce grueling schedules, and improve medical support. The hard truth is clear. The era of push through the pain is ending, whether WWE likes it or not. Fans and wrestlers alike are demanding a future where athletes are protected, their health prioritized, and their sacrifices honored, not exploited. Seth Rollins' injury has become a rallying cry for change, sparking conversations about wrestler unions, healthcare reforms, and safer work environments. The road ahead will be long and uncertain, but Seth's fighting spirit and the community rallying behind him offer hope. His journey reminds us all that behind the spectacle of pro wrestling are real people, people who deserve respect, care, and a chance to heal. As WWE faces its reckoning, one thing is certain: Seth Rollins' legacy isn't just about championship titles or unforgettable matches. It's about resilience, courage, and the fight for a better future, for himself and for every wrestler who steps into that ring. So to the WWE Universe and beyond, stay tuned. Because Seth Rollins' story is far from over. And the fight for change, it's just getting started.